We've seen the best putters in disc golf, we've seen the best sidearms in disc golf. Time now for the highly anticipated best, longest, bomber, distance throwers in disc golf. The title is a work in progress, but you get the point. These are the farthest throwers in disc golf right now, ranging from players who get the job done by using their strength, using their length, and of course, by using the absolute full flight of the disc. We're taking players from distance records, distance competitions, and Pro Tour events. There aren't really stats for those who consistently throw the furthest out on tour events, so this list is my own judgment alongside those who I have surveyed to help. Two main competitions to look at for distance, the field events at Worlds and the USDGC distance competitions. Both have been very helpful to determine this top 10. It's time to start the countdown for the best distance throwers in disc golf. Here we go. The Canadian Thomas Gilbert can rip. Maybe one of the lesser known players on this list, but when it comes to bombing drives, Gilbert has that in the bag. When checking out a lot of these players in the top 10, you're going to see a lot of effort given on these shots. For Gilbert, he has a way of just easing into the power, one could say effortlessly. The snap we see from lanky baseball pitchers seems to equal a lot of distance in disc golf, and Thomas is the first example of that. You're going to see a couple players higher up on this list who have a very similar form to Gilbert, but for right now I have him at my number 10 spot due to making a lot of finals for both distance competitions and for the eye test.
Thomas is getting aggressive.
No way.
This has got to carry.
He's going to fade. Okay. He just needs to get across here.
Oh my gosh. Is that as close as I think it is?
If this is an overall distance, both backhand and forehand, Hamas would be way higher up, but since we're just looking at the max distance for these guys, it's going to be solely based around their backhand. That leaves Hamas on the 9th spot. Just recently, he had a lot of success at the distance competition at USDGC, where he came in 3rd place overall. He did have the second best throw in qualifying at 687 feet, which is insane. For being known as one of the best putters out on tour, it may be surprising for some of you guys that when Hamas steps up to the tee, he has the chance to outdrive anyone on the tour. We've seen him have a lot of success on those open long courses like D-Glow, where he can just let it rip on hyzer, flip up, and fly forever. A podium finish on last year's distance competition puts Hamas in my top 10, no doubt about it.
Throw for Adam. A little more turn. I think this is better. Stay up. That's moving. Oh, that's his best for sure. Stay up. Wow.
Out of anyone on this list, if you were to just look at these players' physique, you would think Ezra by far throws the furthest. As I like to call him the most jacked player on tour, but don't be slacking on him, he's got some really scary distance with his power. Famous for launching those discraft nukes, he makes them look like fairway drivers. He has the best slow-mos in disc golf, the facial features are some of the funniest out there. But on a serious point, if we're looking at players' skills in the distance department, not only is it Ezra's best skill, it also is right up there among the best in the sport. After seeing Gilbert's almost effortless form, then Hamas, who looks like he's giving it definitely a little more oomph, then finally we have Ezra, who looks like he's trying to throw his disc at the moon. Multiple podiums at Worlds in the distance competition, he has one of the best drives on this par 4, making it look like it's just an easy par 3 for him.
Please be stable.
Come on out of it.
Sorry, Kev.
Did he park it?
Yeah, he might have parked it.
This is all I throw? Just a boss?
I'm gonna throw it more.
We've just been told, we're not even there yet, we're like halfway to the green, that you are 5 feet outside circle 1, or maybe even closer than circle 1.
Wait, I can't believe it, to be honest. That's the farthest drive I've thrown on this hole by like 100 feet.
Drew Gibson, so close among these top guys, but I have him being in the 7th spot. A lot of these top-ranked distance throwers have comments for each other, and for some of the players higher than Gibson, they say he deserves to be right here. He's had a lot of success at open courses due to the fact that he can throw flip-up distance drivers a complete mile. His roller is really good too, but that isn't factored into this. When watching him play, some of his shots don't even make sense with how he can get that kind of distance. For most of you, I imagine you're going to want to see Gibson higher on the list, but after looking at all the players in front of him, I'm comfortable with where I have him finishing. For the eye test, yeah, he looks like a top 3 or 4 thrower out on tour, but for distance competition results, all the players higher than him have actual solid results.
10 left on the hole.
Yeah, he's going to put a charge into this one. Let's see what kind of a reaction he gets. See that spotter eyeing this one in. Wow, eagle off.
As we get closer to the top 5, we're going to start seeing guys who have not only have the potential of 700 feet, but can actually pull it off. Albert Tam at the 2022 distance competition during qualifying would throw over 700 feet. Now, he didn't do that during the finals round, but still it was the farthest thrower of the event. Albert the Bazooka Tam. I mean, come on, if anyone on this list is going to have a nickname worth being in the top 10, it's going to be the Bazooka. As once accurately described, Tam is an absolute unit, a contender at distance competitions against anyone. His short form is unique among this top 10. When you see him throw, you can easily tell that it's the Bazooka. The 2021 USDGC distance champion, he couldn't defend his title, but he came close. Here's his 700-foot drive during last year's distance competition.
Oh, it's gonna pay off for him too.
This
Look
looks
at
good.
this shot, Nate.
I think
Welcome to the
that's
finals,
probably
Mr.
enough.
Albert Tam.
Wow.
From the start of Anthony Barella's career, we all knew he was going to be one of the longest throwers we've ever seen. When he burst onto the disc golf scene as a teenager, he was already outdriving most of the pros he played against. Now, he's a little more grown up and easily a top 5 distance thrower out on tour. His game has changed so much over the years, but one thing is certain. His driving ability keeps him at the top of the leaderboards. He may struggle on the putting from time to time, but you can always count on him to give it a rip and dissect the longest holes on tour. Some interviews out there talking about Barella's driving capabilities. The interesting thing about him is that he's willing to say others are close to his level, but he has himself as top 2 out on tour. I have him at number 5 for the same reason Gibson is at 7. There are just too many players higher up than him who have some serious distance wins. Curious to see where you guys have him at.
The farther down the fairway you get, you start to lose sight of the basket, so your depth perception gets challenged.
They be going big here.
Wow. That's the longest shot I've ever seen in this hole, ever.
The Simon lines will always be recognized as some of the craziest disc golf shots the world has ever seen. Simon Lizotte is going to be our top-ranked international disc golf thrower. On that list, we have Albert Tam and Gilbert, but in comparison to those two guys, Simon has to be one of the top throwers out there. All the way back from his early career where Simon would throw those crazy lines to now where he's way more dialed back and playing so much smarter. But by doing so, he still has this insane distance, which is such an advantage for him on those open courses. To stress the fact that Simon is a GOAT among distance throwers, he was at one time the world record holder in that category, all the way back to 2014 where he would throw 863 feet on the flats in Nevada. And to this day, almost 10 years later, Simon is still out there smashing it. He's a 4-time USDGC distance winner from 2013 to 2019. The Crush Boys brand was built around him and another player on this list for a reason. Simon Lizotte just barely missing the top 3, but for sure one of the longest throwers out there.
He's going for it.
What?
Yeah. Look at this. Unbelievable shot.
Oh, man. Are you kidding me?
Part.
What?
Sorry. Part.
So for Eagle, I have an asterisk on this number 3 spot. As most of you know, he's struggled with shoulder injuries as of late, and he's suffered in distance as a result. But I have him in the 3rd spot overall for a reason. Even with the shoulder injuries, his backhand is currently one of the longer ones out on tour. Just a couple years ago, this guy was destroying courses with how far he could throw. And now that he doesn't really have the forehand, his results are dipped a bit, but that backhand is still there. From what I've seen for the last few years during Eagle's successes, he has to be in the 3rd spot for distance. I don't know if he'll ever return to full 100% with the distance he had, but even now, he's right there among the top drivers in the sport. He was a part of the Crush Boys for a reason, just like Simon.
Oh, if that holds the turn, it still needs to push forward enough. Look at this shot, Nate. No way, it's coming out. What?
The Double G Garrett Gurthey, multiple winner of the world's distance competitions. A big surprise would come as Gurthey just barely fell short on qualifying for the finals of USDGC last year during that distance event. He was just a couple feet shy with a 632-foot throw. But regardless, Gurthey is no doubt in my mind a top 5 distance thrower for disc golf. The Double G brand is built around the power that this guy possesses. The really unique thing about Double G is the way in which he throws. For those of you who have started playing disc golf by videos or by playing with an experienced disc golfer, they're going to show you how to throw a disc. And by doing so, they're going to show you to keep your off arm down by your side. Some beginners will throw from under the shoulder, kinda like this. For competitions, he might be the GOAT. 4-time USDGC distance winner, currently the 3-time defending champ of the distance competition at Worlds. He may be the only one who throws like this, but he makes it work.
Oh, look at the drift.
Oh my gosh. This is why people come to watch you play, Garrett.
Look at this thing go.
This is why people watch you play disc golf, Garrett.
That was so big.
For those who don't know, now you know. David Wiggins Jr. is the world record holder in distance with an insane throw of over 1,100 feet. The winds were absolutely crazy, but still the distance was a number no one thought he could hit. For the 2022 USDGC distance competition, he would qualify for the finals, then win the event with a finals throw of 698 feet. Just recently has started to play some Disc Golf Pro Tour events, but regardless, you have to have this dude as the longest distance thrower in disc golf. He was able to win the last big distance competition with the best of the best from the Pro Tour. As a multiple distance record holder, throwing far has been his brand from the start. Not many players out on tour during the 360 shots when you have to hit a fairway, but even without that, he's number one on the top 10 best distance throwers in disc golf.
More height for sure.
My
Oh,
Made sense.
yeah. Absolutely huge from David.
Are you kidding me?
Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to comment down below who you think should be in the top 10. There's so many guys out there that can bomb it. I'm curious if you guys agreed with me or not. Like and subscribe and check out RM Disc Golf on YouTube for more videos like this. Alright, we'll see you next time. Cheers.